So there is no question.
Which is very bad.
Someone has a question, I guess.
ভালো তো, খুব ভালো, এতক্ষণে একটা কোশ্চেন পাওয়া গেছে। মাইক্রোফোন চলছে, হ্যাঁ এটাই চলছে আর কি। হ্যাঁ, মাইকটা কি খারাপ নাকি?
So there was a point, validity bias.
Uh-huh.
In bias,
Yeah.
there was a point that measurement act as a change agent. So on what factors does it act upon, like time or the style of question, means
See,
tool we are using?
whenever you are doing an assessment on someone, unlike an inanimate object, it is a dynamic process. You are measuring, the person is getting measured, but it remains a sort of a dynamic measure. Suppose the person is being asked, do you take 5 cigarettes per day, 10 cigarettes, 15, more than 50, and so on. That itself can influence the person's smoking behavior, because the person may think, this is an extreme amount, as I can see from the questionnaire. So that can adapt the changes. But the problem is, this may be good for a public health purpose, but the questionnaires approach gets deviated, because when we are measuring something, we always expect the measured thing should not change due to measurement. Try to understand what I'm saying. Just as in physics, when you are measuring an object, we make certain assumptions that that object needs to be perfect geometric shape, must be incompressible, must not break during examination and so on. You realize that. So if those conditions are not met, even physics does not apply properly. Same thing applies in this situation. If your questions are such loaded that it will basically make the person think that, well, my behavior is over, then the person changes the behavior. It may be good in long term for that person, but the measurement process gets deviated. That's the problem. So classic reasons, as I said, the measure theory assumes certain things. That measurement should be basically something that should not make change in the measured thing. That is basically applies to physical objects, that should apply to measurements when we are doing this sort of measurement. When it does not apply that way, then it creates problems. Okay?
So basically, does this affect our data that we are collecting, or in future that we are?
No, the thing is this, our data may or may not be affected. Firstly, data may get affected if the person understands that more than 50 is a high amount. So what the person will be doing? The person possibly will underreport. So the questionnaire needs to be reframed in a way that it should not be made to understood that this is an extreme thing. Sometimes we always keep an option, like say more than say 5, more than 10, that could be much more palatable for the person, rather than to think that, well, this is an extreme cutoff and so on. So the questionnaire needs to be modified. There's a chance of bias, underreporting and so on, that is there. But then, suppose you have already measured that usually in this particular village everyone smokes more than 50 cigarettes per day. Your questionnaire administration has changed that radically to 5 cigarettes per day. Then later on, when a researcher goes and measures, then the measurement will vary. The overall repeatability of measure will be lost. It may be good for public health purpose, but the measurement theory itself will have problem with that. Okay, public health wise it has no problem. That immediate measurement may or may not be vitiated, but overall the measurement theory assumes certain things, like there should be a sort of this should not be a dynamic process. The measurement should keep the measured thing in a constant state, rather than it should modify the person's state. So that assumption will be violated by this sort of thing. This makes our measurements, as it is, our measurement is problematic. We are assigning numbers to things which are very subjective stuff. We are not like the physics people measuring something with a physical gadget or something. That apart, if you already violate the various principles of the measurement theory, then that can create problems. That's why we try to usually avoid this sort of questions, or try to give responses which will avoid these biases. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
আর কেউ নাই, তাহলে আর কি হবে? আর কেউ নেই সত্যি সত্যি, তাহলে আর কি করা যাবে? চলো, ওকে।
A heartfelt thank you our esteemed speaker Dr. Debashish Sannal for their enlightening and inspiring session. Your expertise and passion for our subject truly reflect in your delivery. And I'm sure we have all taken away valuable insight. Thank you once again, sir. We have now come to the end of this morning session. Thank you for your wonderful participation so far. It's time to break for lunch. Please feel free to head to the lunch area and we will resume the workshop after 30 minutes. Do enjoy your meal and we will see you back here shortly. Thank you.